As if the whole Carlee Russell situation wasn't bad enough already, new evidence in the case has surely made it worse. According to some new findings by the investigators on the case, Carlee Russell's parents were in on it with Carlee and helped her stage her kidnapping. Unbelievable. Carlee sent the whole nation into a frenzy when it was revealed that she went missing on the interstate. But as it turns out, she had done some pretty questionable things, and she was just trying to get out of the consequences. You're watching Celebrity Buzz, and today, we are going to be talking about how Carlee Russell's parents helped her fake her own kidnapping. But before we get into all of that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications while you're at it.
Laid back, but if it's a chance for her to put up a fight to try to save her life, she's gonna do everything she can to put up a fight.
Now, this is one of the messiest cases we've seen this year, and investigators are still trying to figure out why she actually did all that she did. But we all thought that Carlee was the only one involved in all of this, but it turns out there are a lot more people who were in on it. Not only was Carlee's friend involved, but Carlee's parents also played a huge role in helping her stage the whole thing. Now, before we get into all those details, let's give you a little recap. For those of you who haven't been keeping up with the case, Carlee was allegedly coming back from work when she spotted a child wandering the interstate. She decided to call 911 and let them know what she saw.
On Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves.
Hold on. Where on 459 are you?
I'm right next to the exit 10 by the River Med, like to get off by the River Med.
Okay, so you're before that exit?
After this, she called her cousin to tell her about the child too, before getting out of the car and taking a closer look. This is when she allegedly got kidnapped. Her cousin, who was on the phone with her at the time, heard her scream and her phone dropped, so she told Carlee's mother immediately. Carlee's mother called the police and the investigation began.
Carlee a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers.
Police went to the interstate, and it didn't take them too long to spot Carlee's car parked on the side of the road. The car was still running, and her phone and wig were tossed on the road. This all indicated that something had happened, and the police started looking more into it. But as the investigation got more thorough, they started to realize that a lot of things didn't really add up. What made everything worse is that 2 days after Carlee had gone missing, she returned to her parents' home. Her parents took her to the hospital to get examined, and this is where she got her statement taken. Even after the police took her statement, they saw how her story wasn't really making sense. But her parents said that their daughter was the victim and that she was being bullied. It was around this time that people started to realize that Carlee might have been lying all along. They started calling her out, but her parents kept saying how she was being bullied when she was the victim in all of this. Her mother even said that Carlee fought for her life for 48 hours. So her parents either believed her completely or there was something else going on. The investigators then found out things that really sent this case in a whole new direction. But before we tell you all about that, make sure to send this video to a friend who might enjoy our content and hit that subscribe button while you're at it too. Now, there were a few things that didn't add up in Carlee's story. The first thing that investigators pointed out was the fact that there was no child on the interstate to begin with. How did they know that? Well, first off, no one else called 911 to report a child on the interstate, despite it being relatively busy that day. Don't you think anyone other than Carlee would have noticed a kid on the side of the road? And not to mention, in the CCTV footage released to the public, Carlee's car can be seen pulling to the side of the road, but there's no kid to be seen anywhere. This was another reason why people started doubting Carlee about this whole thing. But whenever anyone called her out for lying, her parents would say she was the victim and tell people to stop bullying their daughter. Another thing that investigators noticed when they started looking deeper into the case was that Carlee had stopped on her way to the interstate to buy snacks. Yup, she had stopped by just moments before she allegedly got kidnapped to buy snacks. But when the police found her car on the side of the road, there were no traces of any snacks inside or outside her car. Now, why would a kidnapper steal her snacks? But trust us, it gets worse from here.
30 a.m., the term. You have to pay for an Amber Alert was searched. On July 13th, at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term. how to take money from a register without being caught. At 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction.
When the investigators looked even deeper into the whole thing and checked her search history, they found some pretty shocking things on her PC. Searches she made leading up to her disappearance strongly suggested that she had staged the whole thing.
There were 2 searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert.
She had even searched for ways to steal money from a counter without getting caught. After these details were released to the public, people realized that she had been lying all along and had staged the whole thing. People started calling her out on what she did, and it didn't take long for her to release an official statement where she basically admitted to the whole thing. She thought it would make the situation better, but she got so much hate for it and ultimately ended up getting arrested for it. But some things in her statement sounded weird, like the fact that her friend was the one who picked her up from the interstate. It was her friend who helped her stage the whole thing. Not only that, but there were pointers to the fact that her parents knew everything. Her parents had been pretty vocal when it came to telling the public not to bully Carlee, but ever since she admitted to the whole thing being staged, they've been awfully quiet. There is no way that they couldn't tell when their daughter was lying about being kidnapped. Don't you agree?
Anything leading to the case itself, we can't discuss that.
Do you believe she was fighting for her life?
Oh, she definitely fought for her life.
Now, a lot of people have been thinking the same thing. And that question is, why did she do it? Well, there are a bunch of theories that people came up with, and we are going to talk about all of them. The first one is that she was caught stealing from her job, and she had to run away from the situation so that she didn't have to face any consequences. This one makes a lot of sense, especially when you look at the fact that she had literally looked up ways to steal from a cash counter before she went missing. It would also explain why she came back just in time to go back to her job. But things didn't turn out the way she had planned, and not only did she get fired from her job, but she also ended up getting arrested and hated by the whole nation. Another theory that people have is that she did this to get back with her ex, because according to the findings in the case, her ex had been blocked for a while, but she decided to unblock him and add him to her social media on the day of her staged disappearance. Out of all the ways you could win your ex back, she decided to go with the most chaotic and frankly stupid one. And the fact that her parents were in on it with her just makes this whole thing so much worse. And that was all we had time for in today's video. Why do you think Carlee Russell staged her own kidnapping? Do you think there were other people involved in this? Let us know all your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and hit that subscribe button for more videos like these in the future. With all that said, as always, we will see you in our next video.